Boy, it's really scary being unconscious. The things you imagine. I thought 2 little leprechauns and a red-headed giant were going through my pockets.
And this is the hall where my locker is. Kelly, we've been at school for hours. Will we be going in a classroom today?
Yes, Connie, I'm coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, and we're rocking to celebrate summer's last hurrah, Labor Day weekend. I don't even know why we're on, because you'd have to be a real no-life.
When Married with Children first aired, it did more than shatter every standard of the traditional family sitcom.
According to legend, no one can make the guards smile. Watch this. Excuse me, is that a hat, or are you just a member of the British Hair Club for Men?
Feel like the Queen of England. Al, honey, you sure we have enough money to pay for this meal?
Yep, that's why I only ordered myself a cup of coffee.
Go away.
Please.
You know, pleading got you married, but it's not going to get you...
It unleashed a chain of scandals and controversies that shook American television. Behind the laughter were fateful casting sessions, tense conflicts, and even the real-life tragedies of its cast. After decades of silence, Ed O'Neill and his co-stars finally revealed never-before-told behind-the-scenes stories, secrets that could forever change the way you see the Bundy family.
And that was really an experience because I didn't know anybody there. I was what they call the get actor. In other words, I was the guy who was known. No one else at that table was known. I mean, I know Julie had done a little Boston Legal, but I never saw her. I never watched Boston Legal.
When Michael G. Moy and Ron Levitt set out to develop a new sitcom, they knew for certain they did not want to create a warm, idealized Cosby-style family. Under the working title, Not the Cosbys, they crafted a satirical script that deliberately flipped every perfect value American television celebrated at the time. Their goal was to portray a lower-middle-class family with all the frustration, disappointment, and flaws that real-life audiences could easily recognize, but rarely saw depicted on screen. To achieve that, Moyer and Leavitt had no hesitation about including crude humor, sexual innuendo, and a distinctly anti-sentimental tone. They wanted viewers to laugh while realizing they were looking into a mirror reflecting society. The surprising twist was that Fox, still a young network, fully embraced this bold approach. In contrast to the caution of ABC-CBS and NBC-Fox encouraged them to push the limits to stand out and attract audiences with content the major networks would not dare to air. The decision to cast the Bundy family became a crucial turning point. Ed O'Neill recalled his 1986 audition. He walked into the room, slumped into a chair, and let out a weary sigh, a gesture he had picked up from a family member. In that moment, the creators knew instantly Al Bundy had arrived. The way Ed brought apathy and defiance to the role convinced everyone that no one else could play it. Katey Sagal arrived at her audition with flaming red hair and a tight, provocative outfit. Peggy Bundy come to life. Katey said she immediately felt the rebellion in the character, a wife who was both lazy and teasing her husband in a humorously irresistible way. Initially, the role of Kelly Bundy went to Tina Caspary, but after the pilot, Fox felt there was a lack of chemistry with the rest of the cast. Christina Applegate, just 15 at the time, was brought in as a replacement. Christina brought a unique energy, both innocent and sly, perfectly suited to Kelly. She recalled the set atmosphere as full of sarcasm, but very welcoming, and admitted she quickly fit in with the group. The role of Bud Bundy originally went to Hunter Carson, but again the chemistry was not right. David Faustino, only 12, auditioned and was immediately impressed. David remembered that reading the script for the first time was both exciting and nerve-wracking due to the heavy presence of adult themes, something rare for a sitcom. Beyond the Bundy family, the neighbor Marcy Rhodes, played by Amanda Bierce, became an essential piece of the puzzle. Amanda brought a serious, equally satirical counterbalance. She recalled that in the early days the group was cynical, but quickly developed a strong bond and lasting camaraderie. Katey Sagal once said Ed O'Neill was funny from the very first minute, while Christina Applegate felt the group quickly became a little family, both on and off screen. This chemistry was the key to making the Bundy characters feel so vivid and memorable. When the pilot was completed, Fox responded with a mix of praise and critique. They valued the Bundy family's chemistry, but noted the Rhodes characters lacked enough punch. The network described the show as sharp but shocking, a clear sign that Married with Children would follow no conventional path. And they were right. Just a few episodes into its run, the Bundy family not only made audiences laugh, but also placed Fox at the center of an unprecedented storm of controversy in American television. Eruption and the Boycott Campaign. In 1989, Married with Children stepped out of the safe zone of American television and straight into the heart of a controversy. The episode, Her Cups Runneth Over, centered on Al Bundy and Jefferson. Shopping for lingerie for their wives became the tipping point. The moment it aired, it sparked a fierce backlash from a segment of viewers not only for its frank handling of sexual themes, but also for elements deemed provocative, a gay male character wearing a crown lines heavy with innuendo and semi-nude scenarios. In Michigan, Terry Rakolta, a mother of four and sister-in-law to the state's governor, decided to turn her personal outrage into a public crusade. She sent out a flurry of letters to major corporations urging them to pull their ads from the show, citing immoral content that was harmful to American families. Rakolta's determination was quickly picked up by the press, and within weeks, the boycott became a national media focus. The result was a series of high-profile advertisers, including Gillette Warner Lambert and Coca-Cola, announcing they would withdraw their sponsorship. This was a direct blow to Fox's revenue, as the fledgling network was still competing with ABC, CBS, and NBC. To ease the pressure, Fox pulled the episode I'll See You in Court from the schedule. That episode featured multiple sexually explicit scenes and even addressed eavesdropping in a hotel room, a topic considered far beyond the line at the time. Still, Fox Entertainment president Jamie Kellner did not fully bow to the criticism. He countered that it was a selective kind of criticism, implying that many other shows contained equally bold material, but were not subjected to the same harsh treatment as Married with Children. Ed O'Neill recalled, "The pressure was intense, but I think it made the show sharper. We had to be more creative in how we delivered the laughs." Katey Sagal described that period as being scrutinized for every line, every gesture. Christina Applegate admitted that from then on, she was always in the spotlight and unexpectedly became a teenage sex symbol, a label that opened new doors but also forced her to face intense public pressure before she was even 18. The most surprising outcome was the reverse effect. Instead of dropping, viewership rose sharply. Before the boycott, Season 3 ranked only #48 nationwide. But from Seasons 4 through 8, Married with Children consistently stayed in the top 50, proving that controversy could be a far more effective promotional tool than any marketing campaign Fox had ever run. Still, the fallout from the criticism left a lasting mark. When the controversial episodes were later re-aired on cable or released on DVD, many scenes were cut or dialogue altered to meet newer censorship standards. Hardcore fans complained that the Bundy spirit had been watered down. Rather than shy away, Fox cleverly turned the notoriety into part of the brand. They positioned the show as a sitcom, not for every household, an unspoken declaration of how different Married with Children was from wholesome family shows like The Cosby Show. This only fueled audience curiosity to see what the Bundys had done to become a national talking point. Even Terry Rakolta later admitted that while she still disapproved of the content, she had inadvertently helped make the show more famous. Many television critics saw it as a textbook example of the Streisand effect, when attempts to suppress or protest something only cause it to spread further. The 1989 boycott not only changed public perception of the Bundy family, but also marked a turning point in American television history. For the first time, a crude, edgy sitcom, unafraid to touch sensitive topics, could not only survive, but thrive in the middle of a media firestorm. But while the outside world buzzed with controversy behind the scenes, tensions were beginning to build. The pressure of the shooting schedule, the demands of fame and personal differences soon triggered internal shakeups, setting the stage for the next chapter. One every bit as dramatic off-screen as it was on. Tragedy behind the camera. Behind the biting humor of Married with Children lay a series of personal clashes and private tragedies that are still remembered as scars that never fully faded. One of the most notable conflicts was between Ed O'Neill and Amanda Bierce. In 1989, TV Guide released a special cover featuring the main cast, but only Ed and Katey Sagal appeared. Amanda and David Garrison, who played Steve Rhodes, were excluded. The incident left Amanda feeling undervalued, while Ed chose to remain silent at the time. Years later, he admitted that he should have spoken up to defend his co-stars, but at the time I didn't think it would leave such a lasting mark. The relationship between Ed and Amanda became even more strained in 1993. When Amanda got married, she did not invite Ed, calling it a difficult decision, but believing his presence might make some guests uncomfortable. Ed took it as a personal insult and responded strongly in later interviews. The rift lasted for years, to the point where they rarely spoke of each other unless directly asked. Conflict was not the only hardship behind the scenes. The set also experienced losses that deeply shook the cast. In 1991, Katey Sagal, who was pregnant, lost her baby in the 7th month. Her pregnancy had been written into the storyline, but after the tragedy, the writers were forced to change the arc completely. The episode that was supposed to welcome a new Bundy family member was rewritten as an Al's dream sequence to avoid reopening Katey's wounds. In later interviews, Katey admitted it was the hardest time of her life, though she received strong support from some colleagues. A year later, in 1992, the writers tried introducing a new character, Seven Peg Bundy's nephew, in an attempt to refresh the storyline. The audience reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Letters poured into Fox criticizing the character as unnecessary and diluting the Bundy spirit. As a result, Seven disappeared from the series after just one season without any clear explanation in the script. It remains one of the show's rare failed experiments. Filming itself was far from easy. Each episode was shot in front of 300-500 live audience members, which ensured genuine laughter but created intense pressure for the actors. Ed O'Neill often had to perform physical comedy involving falls, collisions, or other demanding stunts, resulting in multiple minor injuries. For Katey Sagal, returning to the set after her personal loss was an enormous emotional challenge, especially as Peg had to maintain her sarcastic, humorous demeanor as if nothing had happened. Christina Applegate recalled that while they played a dysfunctional family on screen, there were still moments of real closeness off-screen. Even so, the demanding filming schedule and constant public scrutiny sometimes strained relationships. Minor disagreements could quickly be amplified by the press painting the picture of a drama-filled production. The turbulence was not limited to behind the scenes. On screen, several episodes provoked deeply divided reactions, putting the show at risk of being pulled from the air more than once. Shocking episodes and memorable scenes. Over its 11 seasons, Married with Children repeatedly delivered episodes that either had audiences laughing uncontrollably or so outraged they called for the show to be taken off the air. At the top of that list is Her Cups Runneth Over, the episode that sparked a nationwide boycott campaign. Another was I'll See You in Court, which told the story of a lawsuit over a sex tape accidentally recorded at a hotel. The series was also unafraid to take on political and social themes. The Egg and I satirized the animal rights movement, igniting heated debate between supporters and critics. Meanwhile, No Ma'am introduced a men's group led by Al Bundy, opposing feminism. The episode was criticized for promoting sexist ideas, while also praised by some viewers as a humorous social commentary on gender relations. Ed O'Neill later revealed he saw No Ma'am as a way to poke fun at extremism on all sides, not as an attack on any one group. Due to pressure from protests, many episodes were cut or had dialogue altered when re-aired to meet new television standards. Even so, some improvised moments from the cast slipped past censors and became iconic. Ed O'Neill often used shoe store or bowling alley scenes to ad-lib producing lines that fans have quoted for decades. The show also scored big with special guest appearances. One standout was comedian Sam Kinison, whose explosive energy sent the episode's ratings soaring. It was a proof of the impact that the right comedic guest one aligned with the show's tone Auro could deliver. But then, Married with Children's boldness sometimes put its younger cast members in awkward positions. Christina Applegate once recalled filming scenes in revealing outfits at just 17, admitting she initially felt pressured, knowing she would be scrutinized by both the audience and the press. Katey Sagal remembered a time she had to film a stairfall repeatedly just to get the perfect camera angle, leaving her with real bruises after the shoot. What all these controversial episodes had in common was the ability to tackle sensitive subjects under the guise of dark comedy. This quality set Married with Children apart from other family sitcoms of its time, but it also meant living with the constant risk of censorship or being pulled from the air. Despite the pressures, the cast and crew maintained their no-compromise approach, preserving the show's edgy humor through to its final season. And those once labeled shocking episodes have since become a vital part of the Bundy legacy, remembered by fans as proof of an era when television dared to push the boundaries. But when the stage lights went dark and the laughter of the live audience faded into memory, each member of the Bundy family stepped onto their own path, carrying both the glory and the lasting mark of the years they spent, creating one of the most controversial sitcoms in television history. Crossroads after the final curtain. In 1997, Married with Children officially ended after 11 seasons, but the way the show bowed out left many in the cast surprised and somewhat bitter. Fox held no press conference or internal announcement, and the news reached the cast through chance encounters. Ed O'Neill was in Ohio when a couple recognized him and asked if the show had ended. The question caught him off guard, and only after checking with the crew did he confirm it. Christina Applegate, meanwhile, was driving when she happened to hear it on the radio, without a single official call from the producers. Even so, Ed later said, "We laughed a lot, and that's what I want to keep." After saying goodbye to the Bundys, each cast member began writing a new chapter in their career. Ed O'Neill staged an impressive comeback as Jay Pritchett in Modern Family 2009 in 2020, becoming the model of the modern dad on screen and earning multiple Emmy nominations. His career remained active, and in 2024, he portrayed Donald Sterling in Cliptida series exploring an NBA scandal. Although there had been talk of a Married with Children animated reboot, the project was canceled in 2025, ending hopes of an official reunion. Katey Sagal also cemented her status by shifting toward drama. Her role as Gemma Teller in Sons of Anarchy not only won her a Golden Globe, but also revealed a completely different side from Peggy Bundy. In 2025, Katey appeared at Phoenix Fan Fusion, where thousands of fans pressed her for Bundy behind-the-scenes stories and long-held secrets. Christina Applegate continued her success with the critically acclaimed series Dead to Me. However, in 2021, she revealed she had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, forcing her to scale back her work. In 2025, Christina released a memoir sharing her career journey, health battles, and inner strength. But later, that same year, she was hospitalized with a kidney infection, an incident that alarmed fans who sent thousands of messages and flowers to the hospital. David Faustino chose a quieter path while staying connected to fans voicing multiple characters in The Legend of Korra and Dragon's Race to the Edge, and frequently attending fan conventions where he happily signed autographs and shared filming memories. Amanda Bierce moved behind the camera, directing numerous popular TV episodes. In 2025, she appeared at Ocon Expo, discussing her directing career and addressing her past conflicts with Ed, a topic audiences still find intriguing. Remarkably, nearly 3 decades after its finale, Married with Children continues to thrive in popular culture. Streaming rights now belong to Hulu and Peacock, introducing the Bundys to an entirely new generation. In Australia, 2025 figures showed viewership up 4.4 times from the previous year, a clear sign of the show's enduring appeal. Many younger viewers have shared on social media that they are surprised an old sitcom could be this sharp and fearless. On its legacy, Katey Sagal once said, "We broke every mold of the family sitcom. The Bundys were not perfect, but they reflected the reality of many people's lives." Critics agree, noting that the show's success was not about making viewers love every character, but ensuring they remembered them, whether out of love, hate, or debate. Today, with TV and streaming saturated by dark comedies and norm-breaking sitcoms, it is easy to forget that the Bundys were the ones who paved the way. The show's biting lines, satirical plots, and unapologetic tone inspired The Simpson Family Guy, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and many more. Married with Children not only redefined the family sitcom standard, but also set a precedent for series unafraid to tackle provocative topics from The Simpsons to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Ed O'Neill has said the show's appeal was in reflecting real-life, self-pitying funny, and to this day, the cast believes that brand of satire has never lost its value. Even with the animated reboot canceled in 2025, the Bundys continue to attract new fans through streaming, where younger audiences discover a phenomenon that once shook America. If you've ever laughed, been shocked, or argued about the Bundys, share in the comments the scene or behind-the-scenes story you'll never forget. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss more behind-the-scenes stories from iconic 90s sitcoms, shows that changed the way we see television forever.